Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I want to thank you so very much for giving me this, your moment in time. Earlier this morning, I posted a video and it was entitled Perception of the People Flawed. The perception of the people flawed. In other words, American people are overdosed on evil. We, sisters and brothers of America, people don't know us as we really are. All across the world they've heard about us and they had a beautiful presentation given. Now they find themselves in hardship and trials and tribulations because their nation is so far from the ideal that they've heard about America. And they all want to come here, but only to find out that America, like their places they're running from, is overdosed on evil. Opioids. Today, my girls took me to a movie. Rather than go to sit up in a church and listen to another Bible story by another preacher who has no idea, genuinely concerned now. I'm not trying to take this away from them, but are way off the mark as far as getting a message that you can profit from, that you can benefit from, that you can eat and grow from. So they took me to a movie. It was a movie entitled Aladdin with Will Smith. Now, I've seen Aladdin cartoons. I've seen it several times. And there was one that was really funny. And that was with Robin Williams. You know how funny that could be. Today's movie was funny, but to me it had more of a significance. I didn't go to see how funny it could be. In fact, I just went to be with my babies so they could have memories of when they went to the movie with Granddad. It was nice. But as I watched this movie, and you watch the movie, you know the story, and I'm not going to try to repeat the story. But as I saw Jafar and everything that Jafar represented, it reminded me of the most evil men that I have been familiar with, whether I read or studied them or know them on this planet. Men who were represented like Stalin, or Caesar, or some other pharaoh, some other king or queen. Jafar actually looked like Stalin. Jafar looked like Lenin. Jafar looked like Mussolini. Jafar looked like Hitler. Looked like the representative in the Philippines. Looked like the representative in North Korea. Looked like Pol Pot. Looked like whoever was in charge when Tiananmen Square occurred. Jafar looked like apartheid. Looked like slavery in America. Jafar, even my friends, looked like Donald Trump. When I say looked like, I'm talking about what they espoused as rule, power, and hatred, and bigotry, and lowdown, and dirtiness. Now, if somebody tried to explain that to you, you might not see it. So I would suggest that maybe you take a little bit of time, go view the movie, and see if you can identify what I've just shared with you. This is a strange thing, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very strange. Here we are today with all of the struggles that's going on around the world. And nobody seems to be coming up with any kind of solutions. You got the Republicans coming up with a solution that addresses them, make them feel all right, but doesn't do a thing for the Democrats. Or Democrats who coming up with something that makes them feel all right, but doesn't do a thing for the Republicans. Or white folks trying to come up with some plan that works for them, but doesn't do a thing for blacks. Or blacks who trying to come up with a plan that treats them well, but doesn't do a thing for whites. Or men trying to come up with a plan that might suit them well, but doesn't do a thing for women. Or women want to come up with a plan that doesn't do a thing for men. They have not learned, ladies and gentlemen. As an example I used earlier, if you are a bodybuilder and you're concerned about your upper body strength, you can take a barbell and work your right arm and make it as nice and powerful and shaped and formed like you want it. You can do the same to your left arm. Work it with that barbell and make it look like you want it to look. Have strength like you want it to have. But until you can put both hands on a barbell or whatever they want to call it with a heavy weight on it and use both hands to work it out, you're going to be limited in the way you look and the ability of your strength. So what you have is a right hand and a left hand coming together for a common purpose, to be strong. And this is the significance for a nation. You need the right hand and the left hand. You need the Republicans and the Democrats. You need the men and the women coming together for a common cause. And what is that common cause? What is it that everybody wants? They want peace. They want prosperity. They want joy, freedom, and the fulfillment of their dreams. That's what everybody wants. They just don't know how to get it. They don't know how to bring it all together. Because a woman can't tell them, a man can't tell them, an American can't tell them, somebody else can't tell them. White can't tell them, black can't tell them. Because they don't know. All Americans know, all any people on the face of the earth know, is what they've been taught, what they've heard, and what they've seen. They have heard one thing and seen another, and they have practiced what they saw. It's like telling your children don't engage in sex early, without giving them the proper instruction and the reasoning. And then they catch you having sex. And so they think something is going on that you're trying to deny them of. And so what they do, they try it. And they say, mm-hmm. Now that was just okay thing. But it's in every walk of life, every situation. Whether it's in school, whether it's at work, whether it's swimming, whether it's anything. You got two pictures. What is said and what is done. So, the nation has been stripped of the goodness. So what you see in Jafar at the end of the movie, when they put the cuffs on him and put him back in the lamp and all of his power and all of his hatred and all of his bigotry, until they put that back in there, there was no peace. And until we put that back in there, until we put all of the would-be Hitlers and all of the would-be Stalins and all the would-be Trumps, until we put them back in the lamp. And when we put them back in the lamp, ladies and gentlemen, You're not just putting them in the lamp. You're putting their boss in the lamp. And that's Satan. Satan is Jafar's boss, Putin's boss, Trump's boss, Philippine man boss, North Korea man boss. Every hateful person on the face of the earth, Satan is their boss. But understand, ladies and gentlemen, the people are an expression of who and what we have learned from those before us. So we just can't jump on them and stomp on them, call them low down and dirty. You know you were the same way as that generation behind you. You might not have done the same things, but you did similar things, just as negative. So this is why you got to have compassion. Compassion means allowing people to be themselves and yet being able to resist them based upon principles. Being able to resist them based upon introducing a way that works for you and them. They don't know how to work that thing out. White people don't know how black people and themselves can hang together, and live together peacefully. White people don't know that. Some of them do, but most of them don't. They know hatred. They know picking up guns, going, killing a whole bunch of people. They know that quite well. And black people know that too. Not as much here in this country as perhaps some other countries. But everybody know that. And they do it. Where they got guns, they use them and kill folks. Where they got limited guns, they're trying to buy them and do the same thing. So this hell we're living in, we mad with it, and we know the devil had a part to do with it. But there's no need of being mad if we don't have a solution. You know, like the Democrats, they pissed at Jafar that's in the White House today. They're pissed. But they got no real solution. America is pissed with the rest of the world, but it has no solution. The rest of the world is pissed with America, but it has no solution. The solution, my friends, comes from a spirit. The same spirit that made the earth, the same spirit that made all human beings, the same spirit who made the plan that would allow anyone following it to freedom. A spirit. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but it ain't you. No, it's not you either. Or you. It's God. Using those who will listen to God. Even Aladdin. Even the power, the genie of the lamp can give you some idea of the power of God. It got all power. And it will grant you your wish based not on simply you saying, let me do this or let me do that. But based upon what you do. Reaping what you sow. Well, I want to say it. Let me quiet it down a little bit. Even my little grandbabies enjoyed the movie. The movie was so exciting. I thought about that part where they were getting serious, that part that touched the heart, and it reminded me of my present wife. I told her that I would be able, that based upon my love for her, I would do anything for her. As far as peace, prosperity, and joy, I'm going to make sure that every ounce of my being is given to provide that this might be present in her life. My assumption, hope at that time had been that when I come out of here telling the world this great story of God's love and the path that God has set before us that would allow us to live as if we're in heaven on earth today, whether we're in paradise. Hell, I know it's true. But the world, I had never heard that before. I knew society don't talk about this kind of thing. This is why I was so convinced when I brought it to them. They were going to be ready. They were going to be ready as they were when Trump started walking down that thing talking about cussing people out and calling them names and pointing fingers at other folks. The people who loved him went crazy. They were excited. They started saying, lock them up, build a wall, come on God, any and everything. I was under the impression that Americans would be honoring God's plan of freedom, so that which I promised my wife would be simple, not just for her, but for everybody. But I was wrong. There had not been that kind of goodness taught. There had not been that kind of compassion and love taught. One occasion in the 80s, I ran for president of the United States, and as I was campaigning across the country, one news article came back saying that the problem with my campaign is that I wanted more for the citizens than the citizens wanted for themselves. Now, I'm not going to talk about me because it wasn't me. I was just glorifying God. And I used this particular moment in time to share a message about truth and love that God wants you to get, and that the people at the church today did not get. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen.